What is up, everybody? Hope you're all doing well out there. Hopefully, you're all having a good summer, staying cool. Now, I really wanted to talk about this video, and I know I'm late getting to this, but I just had to talk about it because this has got to be the least bit surprising news in all of skateboarding in 2026. I mean, a blind dyslexic man could have seen this coming from a mile away, but it looks as if Lakai is going down under and potentially folding for good. Now, as you can see, I got this video up right here. Louis Mora was fired from Lakai, and if you don't know who he is, he seemed to be driving the creative direction for Lakai, doing the filming, creating the content. I know he also does vlogging outside of Lakai, and he owns two brands, Aura Skateboards and Erase Clothing. And I know, very lackadaisical in creativity there, but we'll get into that later. But Lakai, yeah, it's very not surprising at all to see this kind of result after not even 2 years of all the changes that they've made before. And if you're not familiar with what happened, I'm sure you are if you clicked on this video. But long story short, Mike Carroll, Rick Howard, they end up selling Lakai a couple years ago, not even, to a man named Mark Roca, who owns a private equity company called Inversal. And from what I gathered from Google, their whole initiative is to absorb these distressed businesses in hopes of turning them around, which they tried to do with Lakai to no avail, obviously. And Mike and Rick, they get let go ultimately because they refused to cut the team that they had at the time, which was all the guys on Lakai earlier who were riding for Girl Chocolate, anyone associated with Crail Tap, essentially. So ultimately, they're gone. Mike and Rick are gone, and then they bring on this whole new team of contest riders like Roman Hager, Chris Jocelyn, and bringing on an OG like Bastion Salabonzi. It kind of sucks to see him go from Cariuma to Lakai, but he's kind of at the end of his career, so and probably just wants some paycheck, so definitely understandable. One thing too, like that just goes to show, like if there's any indicator that this was just a bad idea to begin with, it's when they can't even stay afloat at the very least, when you have the literal reigning Thrasher Skater of the Year in Chris Joslin, tray flipping El Toro on the cover of Thrasher magazine with the Lakai logo glaring on the bottom of his shoe prominently on that cover too. If that doesn't do it for you, if that can't send your brand into the stratosphere or even just be remotely like successful in any bit or form, then this is just a terrible idea altogether. Nothing can help your brand at that point. Like if that doesn't work right there. And my main point with this video is, and the main point I want to kind of get across, hopefully that people can take away from this, is let's just hope that this is the learning lesson that finally does it. The straw that breaks the camel's back. Bringing back or rebooting brands is just a bad idea, and it historically hasn't worked out for the most part. And especially in this case too, because it's way more egregious. Like when it's not even the same people involved, like you kick out the people who created the brand and are responsible for the imprint that they've had, and Mike and Rick. And if we're being real, the only imprint, like the only real legacy that Lakai has is probably Fully Flared. I mean, nobody really cares what else they've done, like if we're being honest here, and that is decades ago at this point. But you create a team of essentially contest riders, way different from what it used to be, and change the complete aesthetic to to some like Mr. Beast looking ass graphics. And granted too, I could see Mark Roca and all the higher ups playing a heavy hand in that, you know, big private equity firm, and trying to make as many profitable decisions, just seeing what's popular right now and trying to see how they could achieve like the same reach basically by any means possible. So granted, like that could be both parties kind of involved like in that type of decision making. Like it's either way bad decision, but this just also adds to my next point too. Like this whole operation is just a shortcut creatively and creatively. Jesus Christ. Yeah, but you change an existing brand that has had past success to something that's completely unrecognizable while you're still piggybacking off of the brand name that you didn't create that has past success and some bit of a legacy. I mean, at that point, it should just be a new brand all to begin with. And I really don't know that a whole lot about Louis Mora, only to the extent that I explained before. But my first impression is like he doesn't really strike me as someone like too creative. I mean, based off not only his involvement with Lakai, but also the board brand the Aura. I mean, which is, as the kids would say, is not just aura farming. This is aura manufacturing, literally. I mean, come on. There's no higher form of aura farming than having the word aura on any form of gear, basically. And sorry to kind of sound like a little child, like basically right now talking about this. Not exactly what I'm going for, but I mean, feel like that's something noteworthy of pointing out because yeah, like I can't trust somebody like the creative direction of a brand with the thought process of just a name like boiling down to just opening up Instagram and seeing what's trending. That's just not for me personally, but Lakai as a whole has just been essentially dead like well before like these changes too. Like at the last couple like well before like the changes of the last couple of years, and I would basically refer to them, and I've had this nickname for like not only them but other brands as well. As a Weekend at Bernie's company, they pretend the brand is alive and well, carrying that corpse around, flaunting and shoving it into people's faces, but it's decaying and more starting to smell. And at this point, with Lakai, it's basically Weekend at Bernie's too, which is like a way worse level of a stinker right there. I mean, the level of rotting with the skin peeling off and everything, it's just as worse as it could possibly get right now. As bad as it could get, basically.
Beautiful.
So, with all that said, let's get into the video. Let's see what Lewis has to say about him being fired, and then just he talks about the state of Lakai right now. So let's get into it. Let's see what's
So I have officially been let go from Lakai by Mark Roca, and I got my 30-day notice in the beginning of June, and now my time with Lakai has come to an end. I was also informed that our general manager, Ivan Moreno, the wholesale department, and the entire skate team would be removed at the end of the month. Every skater in the company has now been removed or is now in the process of trying to be removed from Lakai, but some people's contracts haven't ended yet.
Yeah, so very shitty situation right here, and this is something you can't really come back from as a company. Like, it's just, well, as a skateboarding company, like mostly, but like, I mean, just having like this type of layoffs too. I mean, it's skaters, like that's a predictable one. I mean, like contract employees, like you can expect them to be the first to go, but I mean, then you have like this much of staff, like the general manager, like wholesale staff, like it's just when you're like clearing departments that much, like it's not a good sign. It definitely seems like they're heading towards some sort of folding, like, or like going down under, like, or just like dissolving the company in some sort of way. It's yeah, it sucks to see like this many people like losing their jobs, like based off of just bad decisions that have come with Lakai essentially at this point.
Wanted to share my perspective on where things stood when these decisions were made so the people can have a better understanding of what actually happened. We had stabilized the company, fixing the cash flow, addressing any outstanding issues, rebuilding our relationships with the customers and the shops. We had our whole plan ready for the remainder of the year.
Yeah, and this is another indicator that like of how bad things are at Lakai right now. Like, and this is something that kind of caught my eye because you're mentioning the cash flow and nothing about it being profitable, like, or having any sort of profit in any way. I mean, especially like after almost 2 years at this point, like you're just getting that like all of that like organized at this point. Like it just goes to show that like things are just like not going good like at all. Like it's just disorganized, like, and whether it's like with upper management or with like the company as well. And also too, like what shops are actually like carrying the new Lakai? I mean, I can't imagine it's like anyone besides like Zoomies or Tactics, who Mark Roca also owns Tactics too. So he's just basically pushing his own brand through another one of his companies. Like I guess that was the model that he was going for. But yeah, I don't see any new Lakai in any new shops. Like I mean, I've seen like old Lakai like still not being sold like in plenty of shops. Like they're having trouble getting rid of those shoes. Like I can't imagine like any shops like wanting to take on like a brand that is like a new like reboot and they can't even get rid of like the old shoes that they have. So I don't know. Yeah, this doesn't make sense to
The
me.
team was excited about the direction we were taking with Lakai. We had so many good projects in the works, including street parts from every member on the team. They were almost done. Roman's street part was dropping in the beginning of this month. Under my
Yeah, and for with this too, I'm hoping like they like all the skaters get their footage back okay. I mean, I'm sure it's not going to be an issue like with a big private equity company like such as this. Like I mean, that's probably like the least bit like that's probably the thing they care about like the very least at this point. So I'm sure that like they'll be able to have that footage. And Louis Mora has his own YouTube channel, so I'm guessing like any footage or like parts that they have ready like are were supposed to be released with Lakai, like they'll just release like through that channel. But yeah, it's you never know. Hopefully, it's not like a Mikey Alfred situation or something like that where the footage is being held hostage. But I doubt that will be the case.
agreement, I was vesting towards 22% of Lakai. There are currently open questions regarding these arrangements, and I am unable to make any further comments due to any legal considerations. Mark made the decision to liquidate inventory through multiple channels, including the manufacturing factory that produced the product and was still owed money. The rest of the team and I were not made aware of the full details or timing until a Buy by Lakai sale appeared, which offered shoes for $35.
Yeah, that's a crazy situation right there. So Lewis, he mentions that he has 22% investment in Lakai, and if you don't know what that means, it basically means that like he has like the right to own 22% of the company like over a set period of time based on the time that he spent at the company as well as achieving certain milestones too. So I'm guessing like there's some sort of like issue like with like maybe he hasn't like achieved like the certain like any of the goals that were like laid out for him, and like that gives reason for the company to kind of let him go like in some sort of way. And he mentions that like he can't talk about it like legally. Like I'm guessing there's some sort of dispute as to like where he was like in this investment deal too. Like maybe there's some sort of like disagreement that like he had like, and he's looking to take some legal action for that. Like he can't just like outright say like yeah, I didn't get my goals, like I didn't do this, I didn't do that, like it just yeah, I haven't been doing my job good. He's not gonna mention that, like, or just, I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't to begin with, but I mean, yeah, and it just also sucks too. Like, there's just a lack of communication, like, from like upper management too. Like, that is kind of a crazy situation. Like, stabilize the cash flow. Like, make sure like all your assets are set. Like, oh, thanks for that. Like, oh, we're gonna take this money now. Like, and you guys are screwed, and we'll sell these shoes for $35 because we got to get rid of them. I mean, yeah, if shoes are going like that low, like then like it's a really bad situation, and yeah, like it.
No one wanted to damage the brand. The impact
The damage has been done well before you guys got involved. Come on now.
had already
Stop
occurred
pretending here.
as a result of the decision made, and it was completely unfair to the shops. This creates a significant challenge for skate shops and distributors who support the brand and bought wholesale stock at prices higher than the $35 sale. It's sad to see this happen after all the effort and trust so many people invested in trying to push the company forward. Even after this statement, I hope that people continue to support the skate shops by buying their existing Lakai stock. I just want to be mindful of that.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, there's no way anybody's buying these shoes now. Like, when they weren't even buying them before all of this coming out. But this is just like a PR nightmare overall for Lakai. Like, it's just, I mean, people were, kind of skeptical about it to begin with when they made all these changes. But, like, you lost everybody at this point. Like this, like after this coming out with everything that has happened 2 years before, like all these changes, like it's just there's no shot in hell people are getting like these shoes now. Like and it really does like suck too. Like it's just like all these people like losing their jobs now, like have like just being out like in the market, like just like putting all that time like in these years like into this company, all because of like the bad judgment from the people running the show, like just for this brand to go extinct.
Not a great plan.
So yeah, the rest of the video, he just kind of goes into talking to his teammates and or talking to the team, and then like thanking people. It's definitely not as important as what we just saw in the video. So yeah, when you sum it up with like everything that has happened with Lakai, it really all boils down to this just being a terrible idea from the very beginning, just pretending that this brand wasn't already dead. Like just the lack of creativity that went into this reboot overall, like turning into something entirely different, like from like what it originally was into a terrible like pop culture looking like zombified version of Lakai. And then also too just overall mismanagement from all levels of the company. And reboots of brands are almost just never a good idea within skateboarding. And you think about the skateboarding industry, it thrives on creativity outside of the pop culture norms because skateboarding is creativity personified. I mean, we welcome like anything that is new or like pushing the boundaries of like what can be like successful within skateboarding, what is unique. We love uniqueness as fans of skateboarding. We all want that. And Lakai basically went against all of that. And it's very rare for any sort of brand to kind of have any resemblance of success. And one rare anomaly that kind of want to put into comparison to put into perspective here is iPath, because I think it is the perfect polar opposite of what Lakai has been doing. And you look at like what they have done like in their comeback. They've brought back people who were originally with the brand. They brought back Brian Krause, who was a co-founder, CEO of the brand, and Fred Gull, Kenny Reeves, some original riders, while adding new riders to the team today who align like with the brand, like with what iPath is and what it's always has been, staying true to like what they are, and creating great products as well. Like it's I think their shoes are looking pretty good. Like to me, like it's I would like to get my hands on a pair of the Grasshoppers, but Lakai essentially did the opposite of that. And yeah, you look at their shoes too, like it's just really like terrible looking, like just very cheap, like Walmart, like Skechers ass looking shoes right here. Just like you just looking at it like an eye level, like surface level, it just does not look good. But anyway, that's about all I have with this video. Hopefully, you all kind of agree with me that reboots need to go with from skateboarding, and we could all do without them. And hopefully, everybody watching here who wants to create their own brand, or hopefully anyone who's creating a brand or trying to create their own business in any sort of way, goes against rebooting and doesn't make the same terrible mistakes that Lakai has made. And with that, I'm out, and I will see you all later.